Welcome to this video about populating your Hadoop tables with data using SQL. I'm Cynthia Saracco from IBM. As you might imagine, this video is part of a larger collection about how to use SQL with Hadoop, and it focuses on how to load or insert data into tables. Each SQL on Hadoop implementation is a bit different, and the specific examples I present here are based on Big SQL from IBM, a technology that I'm very familiar with. But a lot of the basic concepts that I cover are relevant to other implementations as well. As background, Big SQL supports several common Hadoop storage mechanisms, including HDFS, Hive, and HBase. But regardless of the underlying storage mechanism you choose, the basic techniques for populating tables with data are the same. The examples I'm using here are also available online in free tutorials, and I'll give you a link to those later. Many SQL implementations include a load facility, and Big SQL is no exception. In fact, load usually offers the best runtime performance for ingesting large volumes of data, so it makes sense to start with it. Big SQL offers two basic forms of load. The first enables programmers to load data from HDFS files or from a remote file system. I've shown you an example of the latter here, where I've passed SFTP information to the load command to identify the data I want loaded into a table named myTab. The second form, shown at the bottom, enables programmers to establish a JDBC connection to a remote relational database, query one or more tables in that database, and use the query results to populate a Big SQL table. I've hard-coded connection information in this example to make it easy for you to follow. Of course, most SQL offerings for Hadoop enable programmers to use insert statements to populate tables with data. The example shown here illustrates a particular use case that might interest you. It shows you how you might use the results of a query to define the contents of the data you want inserted into a table. This approach can be useful in a variety of situations, such as converting data from one Hadoop file format to another to explore different performance characteristics. The first part of this example creates a table named Big Sales Parquet to hold some data about product sales in Parquet file format. The second part populates that table with data by inserting the results of a query that spans several other tables, none of which happens to be in Parquet format. Finally, let's spend a minute on the create table as statement. With one statement, a programmer can create a new table and populate that table with the results of a query. And, as you might expect by now, the tables referenced in the query can be stored in any supported file format or Hadoop storage mechanism. This particular example is using a create table as statement to flatten some of the data in a star schema database design, essentially combining certain data from related dimension tables into one new table. Now you have some idea of how you can populate SQL tables on Hadoop with data. I've included a link to where you'll find more Big SQL tutorials, including those that contain the examples I've shown here. Thanks for watching.